When a strong storm hits, power crews all over the state work around the clock to restore electricity as quickly as possible. That's what happened in December when a powerful storm caused major flooding and wind damage all over the state. Winds reached up to 70 miles per hour in coastal communities. Central Maine Power says at peak, more than 300,000 of its customers were impacted by the storm. Between CMP and Versant Power, 75,000 customers woke up without electricity on Christmas morning. Both companies say the storm was one of the worst the state has seen in years, and now we're learning more about their response. Good evening and thanks for joining us on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Zach Blanchard. Today, the state's Public Utilities Commission took a closer look at CMP and Versant's responses to that storm, which is protocol for major weather events. News Center Maine's David Guilford shows us what may be done differently in the future to prevent outages before they happen.
Last December, Maine was walloped by massive storms, 1 week apart.
Much of the state experienced power outages and many experienced extended power outages.
On Wednesday, the Maine Public Utilities Commission held not an investigation, but a hearing with Versant and CMP to hear the companies explain how they tackled the second monster storm just before Christmas on December 22nd.
CMP had been well prepared for the impact of this event as the company had just restored over 100,000 customers impacted by Winter Storm Diaz.
Adam DeRozier presented for CMP, saying they dealt with 300 broken poles and kept 400 line crews in Maine.
If we hadn't held those crews, there's no way we would have been able to restore the power we did to the number of customers we did in just 3 days.
Many of those workers came from companies out of state. The PUC questioned both CMP and Versant about retaining local help to bolster in-state teams.
We do try to bring in more crews every time that we lose some, but it is true that we do, like all utilities, rely on contractors to support us in major events.
Here we go. Slightly depressing to be in a cold house.
And in towns like Harrison and Freiburg.
I think we did 30-something calls.
The December storms knocked out power to nearly all residents, most for days. The responding linemen worked round the clock. But can more be done to keep trees off of lines in the first place?
We're going to be installing stronger poles, covered conductor. We're going to be enhancing our vegetation management program.
The commission considered the review sufficiently closed after the brief meeting.
This is really more of an informal opportunity to get together with the utilities and get from them their overview on how their response worked.
And this is where we'll be making the magic happen for tonight.
While leaders in rural towns, despite praise for the linemen, wonder if things can be different next time. In Hollowell, David Guilford, News Center, Maine.